The Westminster rumour mill has been working overtime as to whether the government will make an announcement on Palestine before recess on Tuesday. We now know that the Foreign Secretary will make a statement this afternoon in the House of Commons. Given the genocide in Gaza is continuing apace and that there is little to no prospect of a meaningful ceasefire, it is vital that the government takes further action to deter Israel, not least from implementing its plan to herd the population of Gaza into what is described as a humanitarian city, a concentration camp in all but name, as former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert has stated. On the 7th of July, the Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz briefed Israeli media that he instructed the Israeli military to draw up plans to incarcerate Palestinians in a vast camp to be built on the ruins of Rafah city, pending their departure for other countries, ethnic cleansing. All who entered would be vetted, though it was not stated what would happen to those who failed this vetting process. Once inside, they would not be allowed out. But there are also the major settlement plans afoot, and skyrocketing levels of settler army violence. And on the 6th of August, the Israeli authorities will push forward their plans to approve the E1 Doomsday Settlement to the east of Jerusalem that will sever the city from the rest of the West Bank and divide the West Bank into two, killing off, as it is openly designed to, any chance of a Palestinian state. British government actions so far have been far too little, far too late. Last September, the government did impose an arms embargo on Israel, but with an exclusion for F-35 parts. It still cooperates with the Israeli military, mounting overflights of Gaza from Akrotiri in Cyprus. It welcomes senior Israeli military figures to the UK and even trains the Israeli military. In May, the UK also suspended talks on a future trade deal with Israel, but the existing trade agreement remains very much in place. Overall, the UK has sanctioned 11 settlers and 13 settler groups and outposts. This is not nearly enough to make a real difference. But in June, the government did announce the sanctioning of two Israeli ministers, Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben-Gvir, in what is perhaps its most tough measure yet. But still, the government has not published its formal response to the ICJ advisory opinion, the International Court of Justice, issued over a year ago, that stated that the occupation was unlawful. It still has this business-as-usual relationship with Israel. So, what might David Lammy announce? Given its record, it is possible that no new measures will be forthcoming from the government. In my view, this is unlikely. Many speculate that Lammy will announce UK plans to recognise a state of Palestine, not least after all the efforts to achieve a UK-French joint agreement on the issue. But there are also rumours that additional sanctions could be announced, including on more Israeli ministers. Others may also hope that the government will impose a ban on all trade with settlements, which are illegal under international law, in fact, a war crime. Caabu believes that should have been done years ago. Whatever the government does announce, it must represent massive and serious pressure on Israel to end the genocide in Gaza, to agree to a lasting, meaningful ceasefire, where Israeli hostages and Palestinian detainees will be released, and to ensure full and free access for aid into Gaza run by the UN and associated humanitarian agencies. Anything less than that will just be another bright green light for Israel to continue apace in the summer weeks when governments and parliaments are off on holidays.